This happened when I was in college. I was 20 at the time, studying for an upcoming exam in biology. That is, until my roommate busted in my room. She wasn't yelling, but I could see she was drunk by her excitement. I rolled my eyes and sighed. I completely lost focus now. But it was okay. I'd kind of gotten used to her behavior. She was a party girl while I was, well, a nerd. I tried to get back on my reading tracks again, but she patted me on the back and drunkenly giggled before speaking.
Come on, Jasmine. Every time I see you, you're always reading a book.
I sighed before speaking.
And every time I see you, you smell of alcohol and vomit.
She frowned at me and said,
How about this? I'll be quiet all week if you come to this party tomorrow at 8.
I wanted to say no, but then I thought about it. I mean, I always work really hard. Besides, she won't barge in like this for the whole week. Sounds too good, I thought to myself. So I nodded and continued to read. We got ready. I hadn't dressed up in ages, so I was kind of excited.
Cool.
The party was loud, filled with drunk people making out, bumping, and dancing. The party was hosted in a bar-like setting. It was big and had a lot of space. I'm not going to lie, I did have a few drinks. I wasn't drunk, but I was definitely tipsy. So, as my view became tilted, this guy came out of nowhere and had a small talk with me. He's fairly attractive. He didn't seem drunk. We met and exchanged names. His name was Luke. From what I remember, Luke had black hair and blue eyes. He was white and about 6 feet. We laughed and talked about topics like studying and books, that kind of thing. The talking went on for about a half an hour. Then he said,
Hey, I'm going to get another drink. Do you want anything?
And I said,
Why not?
I mean, I'm having fun.
I'll be right back.
So later on, he came back with drinks. And the next thing I remember, we were making out in the corner of the party room. It was so quick. And then he asked me,
Wanna go back to my place?
Which I politely declined. I already know what he wants. Besides, I needed to be on campus in the morning. I remember that he kept on trying to get me to go.
Wait. Come on. I promise it'll be fun.
But he gave up after I made it clear I wasn't interested in going to his place. He rolled his eyes angrily and gave me a paper with a number on it.
Fine, if you change your mind, give me a call.
He leaned close to me and whispered against my ear.
See ya.
Then he walked out, and the rest of the night was a complete blank. The next day, I woke up inside my bedroom, my roommate snoring on her bed as well. As I got up to shower, a piece of paper fell out of my pocket. It was the number which made me remember that guy. But I had more important things now. I showered then and went to study. I remember reading my book when all of a sudden I felt dizzy. Then I woke up in the bed with police officers and nurses talking next to me. Turns out, I had this dangerous allergic reaction that could only be caused from saliva or any bodily fluids that had come from decaying or rotting flesh, which to my surprise was weird. I hadn't been kissing anyone, let alone ate anything raw. Then I remembered the guy. I told the police about the guy at the party and gave them the number he gave me. I'm convinced that he has something to do with this. A few weeks passed. My allergies went down so I could live my life normally. I just finished my test when my phone rang. I answered it, and it was the police. Turns out the guy from the party had 2 dead, decaying women's bodies inside his apartment that he ate. They must have been there for months. My heart dropped. The thought that I made out was someone who ate human flesh. Or even worse, what if I had agreed to come to his place? I may have been one of those bodies.
When I was 23, my boyfriend and I broke up, so I was in the process of moving away from my hometown to Houston. I just wanted to start over somewhere new. It was about 3 a.m. I was driving through a small town in Texas on my way to Houston when I decided to stop for gas. It was pretty empty, but the gas station was open. As I was filling up, looking at my phone, I saw a truck pull up to the pump on the other side of me. I wasn't paying any attention until I put my phone in my pocket to put the nozzle back, and I saw a man just staring at me. I smiled at him and turned to put the gas cap back on. That's when I saw 4 more men, 2 on either side. I thought that was weird, but I just wanted to get in my car and go. As I went to pull the handle on my door, they knocked me down and pulled me into the truck. They pulled up to a motel and carried me inside of a room. They surrounded me so I couldn't escape. It was so scary that they all stared at me. I cried so much because I didn't know what they're gonna do to me. I was screaming, and the oldest looking one started hitting me, telling me to be quiet. One of them said if I was good, they wouldn't hurt me. They held me down in the corner of the room and tied my hands and feet together with a belt. I was panicking and still crying. I begged them to let me go. I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't tell anyone. That's what I told them. They started talking to each other in another language, one I couldn't recognize. Looking around the room, it seems like they had all been staying in this one room with 2 beds for a while. I don't really want to get into what they did to me, but at some point, one of the men said they needed more beer. They decided the youngest was going to stay in the room with me after the other 4 left. It was just me and the man who looked to be around my age. I remember thinking, I could probably beat him up if I get loose. I asked him if I could use the bathroom. "Excuse me, can I use the bathroom?" He thought for a while and decided to come closer so he can untie me. And when he untied me, I rushed to the door. I swung the door open, but he grabbed my arm. I yelled at him, "Get off me!" And he let go with eyes wide. I ran down the street with no clothes on and jumped in front of the first car I saw. It was a confused elderly man. He saw me and yelled,
"What are you doing?"
like I ruined his day or something. I told him I needed help and that I was kidnapped. After I explained the situation to him, he agreed to help me and told me to get in the car. He drove me to the police station where I was given scrubs and could file a report. They ended up saying I need to go to the hospital for an examination. They want to record any evidence that the men may have left on me. Honestly, I just wanted to take a shower and go home. I just wanted to talk to my mom. The police found the kidnappers shortly after. They are criminals who fled from another country, and it turns out they were all brothers. The police interrogated them separately. They didn't say what they planned on doing with me after, or why they kidnapped me in the first place. They claimed to be all blackout drunk at the time, but with all of the evidence and my testimony, they couldn't get away. I ended up moving to the other side of the country, and even though I know they're in prison, I still get nightmares about what happened. I don't use my phone in public anymore, and my current boyfriend says I'm too paranoid, but I have to be. I never want to feel that weak again in my life.